You know who made it.
Welcome back to 94 Feet, ladies and gentlemen. Kade Cameron, Danny Stepanovich as usual. It's been a little bit, but, of course, that kind of has to go with the fact that there's not too much NBA news. Really all we got to talk about today is NBA Summer League. There's some storylines coming out of that, but, of course, it's Summer League, so kind of got to take those with a grain of salt. Not much going on in NBA free agency, but we still have that to talk about. I can only think of one big free agency signing, and that kind of shook up the way that things could go within the next few weeks. A quick touch on LeBron being in the Drew League. I feel like the Drew League kind of fell off. Nobody was really thinking about it. And, of course, you see LeBron kind of bringing that back up. And, of course, it wouldn't be 94 feet without Fit of the Week and doing something a little different with it kind of coming down to the end of summer. Of course, we still got a month left. I know a lot of people think that August isn't part of summer. I still think it is. But kind of coming down to the end of it, we're going to do a hot or not with some summer trends that we think kind of have those high points and some that are a little bit too overplayed. So, Danny, obviously it's great to be back with you. How you doing today?
Good to be back, Kay. Like you said, not too much going on in the NBA world. I'm starting to get ready for fantasy football, Kate. I'm starting to look into that now. I got to be honest, but glad to be back. I believe this might be our last show, right, Kate? Until sometime in August. Have we decided that yet?
Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is, again, just kind of going with the news of stuff. Like, there's nothing going on. So make this our last show for the summer pretty much. In August, we'll kind of, maybe that first week of August, not first week of August, my bad. The Sunday, either the Sunday right before we get back into the semester, the Sunday right when that semester starts. We'll just kind of do a fan appreciation episode, kind of get people ready, excited for the semester to come up. And especially just because, at that point, you're only talking about another month before NBA preseason kind of kicks up. So there's going to be talking points there as well. But we want to use that as an opportunity to kind of get closer with our fans, kind of bring them in a little bit more, try getting some conversations with them going, and kind of getting them under the spotlight, maybe seeing what takes they have going into this NBA season. So, yeah, you mentioned it, last one for a little bit, but it won't be too long. We'll be back before you know it. But
Sounds
yeah,
good. Let's
exactly.
get into it.
All right. First off, let's just talk about the NBA Summer League. Of course, I mean, as I mentioned, you kind of have to take everything here with a grain of salt. There's nothing, I mean, I feel like too surprising about this year's Summer League. I feel like there were definitely something. Danny, you good there?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Okay. I was gonna say, there are definitely some things where you can definitely like kind of look at it and kind of maybe see like, okay, this could be a talking point when the NBA season does start up. But I mean, really, other than that, of course, as I mentioned, Summer League, kind of take it with a grain of salt. Danny, from what you've seen out of the Summer League, what were kind of some of those big takeaways that you can kind of get behind?
My biggest takeaway out of the summer league was, the Golden State Warriors after they win a championship, they kind of showcase their talent they've been building up. Who we didn't see too much Moody and Kaminga. Obviously, we didn't see any Wiseman during the season, but we didn't see too much Moody Kaminga, especially in the playoffs. But we saw them all out there, and I'm sure the Golden State Warriors, the front office, Steve Kerr, they're hoping that this core of young talent is going to be the next stepping stone once Steph, Clay, and Draymond get washed up. But Moses Moody led all scorers and points per game, 27.5. It was only 2 games, but he dropped 34 in one game. James Wiseman really showed out, I thought. This was his first time playing 4 games in a row since high school after, college and after the injury last year. But I mean, he looked like the missing piece the Warriors needed. They really haven't had like a fast big man who can block shots, run the floor, pull up. Like, he looks like he can be a real contributor next year for the Warriors, which is really scary. I mean, he's already like in that Golden State mindset, set hard screens, roll, rim run. So I really like what I saw at James Wiseman. And then Kaminga, he got off to a bad start in the summer league, but he kind of turned it around. He's still really young. He averaged 19 points per game despite a bad summer league performance overall. That was my biggest takeaway, that this Warriors team, they're going to be here for a while, Cade. I know
Oh,
it's
yeah.
only summer league, but still.
I mean, that's the thing that I think a lot of people were expecting as well. I remember just back during the NBA Finals when we were talking about all these players like Steph, Clay, Draymond. They're doing great right now, but of course, that time frame, that window of them staying as good as they are, it's coming down, getting narrower and narrower each year. So, I mean, being able to have those 2 bad years where they're able to get those high draft picks and really start developing a young core around them that have the leadership around Steph and Clay and Draymond, that's going to be massive. And it's crazy just to think how, I mean, you see these dynasties in the NBA, you typically see them, they develop, they have their fair share. And then by the time those key players in that dynasty leave, it just kind of it fades out. You're now looking at a possibility of seeing these great young stars with the Golden State Warriors take their place and have an opportunity to make a dynasty for themselves. And if Steve Kerr's still the coach at the time, I mean, you're talking about at that point, I think if you can make a dynasty with 2 different groups of people and players, you're talking about being the greatest coach in NBA history at that point. But of course, I mean, it is summer league. It is still going to be time before we really see them shine when they do play at the NBA level. And let's be honest here. I mean, knowing how the NBA rolls around, we don't even know if they're going to be still playing on those respective teams or on the Warriors as time goes on, just seeing how much time Steph continues to play, or Clay or Draymond, all of them, So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out. But of course, as you've mentioned, that's going to be such a big facet going into these next few years, and just being able to add that depth to the Warriors roster. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why they're still considered being the number 1 team in the NBA going into this season. So, and I mean, realistically, that could continue to happen over the next few years as well. One of my big takeaways, I think, is just the fact that, I mean, stars are going to be stars. You look at some of the way those lottery picks went. Paolo Banchero, he had a great summer league. I mean, I think he was averaging somewhere around 18, 19, maybe up to 20 points a game, which has obviously been very good. He kind of cemented himself as some of those kind of big-time summer league players. I think John Wall was on that list of being up there during the summer league. And to put it simply, he's putting himself in a position where there was no bad player on that summer, like that stat that I saw of where Paolo was Um, there's no bad player in the NBA right now. So I mean, they've had some injuries and whatnot, but I mean, there's no bad player in that set. So I think if you are an Orlando Magic fan, you can be enthusiastic about the way he played. Chet Holmgren on the same page. You know, he had a fantastic summer league. I remember what was his first summer league game. He set the summer league record for the amount of blocks in a game with 6. And of course, he
Yeah.
had to make that comment, just be like, only 6. I'm about to come here tomorrow and do it again. So I mean, it seems like he's very NBA ready. Again, like I said, I think it just comes around with just the amount of talent that is going to be this, or that was in this year's summer league, and how much of it just kind of does seem like they're ready for that role in the NBA. Now, similar to that, though, I also do want to kind of focus on Chet, and something that got a lot of attention in itself was that matchup that Chet had with Kenny Lofton Jr. Did you see
The
that?
big boy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, he's a shorter dude, but he's still big, and I mean, it shows that for the Thunder. I mean, it kind of shows that you have to play Chet almost like a Kevin Durant. You can't be expecting him to go in the post and really play that physical style of basketball, because you saw what Kenny Lofton Jr. was doing. He's a small guy, but he was still just powering through, getting buckets over Chet, and it shows a very obvious weakness. And it's going to be very interesting to see how Chet kind of reacts to that when it's not some guy in the summer league and it ends up being a guy like Karl Anthony Towns or Anthony Davis, anybody like that, you know?
I know it's gonna be interesting to see how the Thunder kind of hide him on defense almost. But it's like even if he's struggling defensively, he showed that he can make his impact somewhere else. He can dish out assists. He can still rebound. He shot 42% from deep over the summer league, so he can still pull it. 2 steals a game, 2.8 blocks per game. It's like even though he might struggle on defense, he's gonna find a way to impact the game somewhere else. You know, but like you said, if he is getting matched up against Cat, Embiid, Jokic, he might be unplayable. But we'll just see how that lineup shakes out in OKC.
Exactly. I mean, it's still his first year. He's going to have that opportunity to develop. And of course, I think one of the big things that's going to end up happening is he's going to build that muscle mass that is necessary. I mean, I know this has always been a big talking point for Chet, but I mean, we saw it with Giannis. It's a guy that I think with the right with the right training and program and whatnot, he can develop the skills he needs to play at that level. And if not, I mean, as I mentioned, I mentioned Kevin Durant earlier. I mean, he could play a style of basketball like Kevin Durant. And I mean, obviously, nobody's complaining about Kevin Durant's style. They're just complaining about what he says on Twitter. So I think that he's going to be a very good fit for that Oklahoma City roster. And again, like I said, it's just going to take development, but he's young. He's going to be able to develop in time, and he's going to be good. The one other player that I want to kind of mention that I think had a very good summer league, and it'll be interesting to see how this translates into the NBA season, was Keegan Murray. I mean, he took home summer league MVP. He was putting up some very good stats. I mean, I know he was putting up 24 one game, and I think maybe even averaging 24 throughout the entire summer league, which is fantastic for him. And it looks like there's a little glimmer of hope possibly for Sacramento, thinking that they may have been able to pick up a guy that's not going to be a draft bust for them. I mean, that's kind of breaking the trends that they've had, but there's a possibility that could show up right here in a guy like Keegan Murray.
For sure. I mean, how many times have we seen players go to Sacramento and just flame out? But we'll see what he can do. I didn't catch any of the Kings games, but summer league MVP, that's no joke. Yeah, we'll see what he can do in Sacramento. Another player I wanted to shout out was Cam Thomas, who co-MVP. He averaged 27. I don't even know what co-MVP means. Like, why are they handing out co-MVPs? He
Wait,
averaged 20.
was it the co MVP? Was it for the I guess the like final, what is it called? The championship or co MVP championship?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's for the champ. Okay, I see what you mean.
yeah, and he averaged 27 per game. He led scorers last year in the summer league. He came in second this year. I could see him becoming, kind of a rotational player for the Nets next year. He had a career high last year. He dropped 30 points in a game against Utah. He's really showing that he can be a shooting guard in this league. Maybe like a Jordan Clarkson type role off the bench. I'd love to see Cam Thomas on the Lakers, Cade.
Oh yeah, I bet you will. But yeah, no, I mean, he plays for the Blazers, right?
The Nets.
Oh, Nets. Okay. Oh, okay. Then that
Yeah.
might actually be an. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that might be a co MVP thing for just the overall league. But Yeah, no, I mean he had a pretty good summer league. I mean, when you're talking 27 points a game, that's solid, even if that is summer league. I feel like people do forget that even in summer league, you're still playing against some of the best talent in the NBA, even if they are that younger style of talent. So I think that's obviously very solid. And again, I mean, again, 27 points per game kind of speaks for itself, and I think that's a guy that if he kind of fills that role the same way for the Nets during the regular season, the same way that he did during the summer league. I think you might be able to make the argument that the Nets are a much more different team in that situation, especially if they end up keeping the star players like Durant and Irving and Ben Simmons shows back up. I mean, he's going to be a guy that you're going to have on a low contract, but is going to be making an impact every game during the regular season. So, I mean, if you're a Nets fan, you kind of just got to hope that's how the situation rolls and that you are able to keep him during the regular season playing the same way he did in the summer league. But we'll just have to see. But you got any other thoughts on the summer league for overall?
I don't think so. No.
I was gonna say I got one last question I got to ask. Summer league championship, the rings. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I like the rings.
Okay, I was gonna say I feel like
Yeah,
they may have gone some
that's
like playing
cool.
like like why are we giving out championship and like rings and whatnot to the summer league and whatnot. I think it's important. It gives players incentives. It kind of forces them to put a little more effort into trying to win. I mean, even though they're games that don't really matter, they do matter. I mean, that's contract games. Those are games where you're going to be able to develop your skill and find a contract. If it's not for the team that you're playing for, a team that maybe saw you in summer league. So I like the idea. I know that it got some criticism on Twitter, but of course it's NBA Twitter. Who's not there to
Yeah, no, I
criticize it?
liked it. It's kind of like gives meaning to the summer league.
Yeah.
Summer league's a thing where every summer fans are going to Vegas. They're betting on games, watching these young players, and it kind of gives meaning to the whole thing. It's like, okay, these guys won something. It's kind of cool. I'm sure Blazers fans who made the trip out to Utah and Vegas, they were happy to see their guys win. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good job. And I mean, I know you mentioned it last episode, but we might have to get ourselves on a summer league little road trip for next season.
Yeah,
All right, let's hit it. The next one. The next two things are going to be real quick. We'll just hit free agency update. The only thing I've really seen that actually matters is the fact that DeAndre Ayton made things very interesting for the Phoenix Suns and even the Pacers. Initially, he was going to sign that what I forget the name of it. I'd have to look it up, but the 133 million $4 contract with the. Do you know the name of the type of contract it was?
no,
Um, but yeah, it was pretty much just like since he is a restricted free agent, he signed that contract. Suns had an opportunity to match. When you're a team like the Suns who need an asset like DeAndre Ayton, there's no option they had. So they matched it. So DeAndre is coming back as a Phoenix Sun on a 4-year, $133 million contract. Let the market kind of decide what his contract was going to be. He finally gets the max that he was asking for and what he wanted. Um, but at the same time, I think the biggest question here is that DeAndre Ayton was such a major factor in that Kevin Durant deal. If that was to happen, now with the deal, the way it's set up is that with that new contract for DA, um, I don't think it gives him an option for the Suns to trade him until January 15th unless DeAndre Ayton approves of any trade before that. So that's really the only I think the big takeaway out of this is just the fact that now you're talking about if there was going to be a Kevin Durant trade. I mean, talks are going to be much different now in that situation.
how does this make you feel, Kate, as resident Suns fan? You're in Phoenix right now. Um, as someone who's never been the biggest Suns fan, I'm kind of glad they signed Da. He's never been you can say top 5 center, but he's never been a center that scares me, and I don't know if I would want to pay him that type of money. Um, a rim running center, he can't really stretch the floor. He's good in the pick and roll, but it was like, how much was of that is CP3?
Yeah, it's. I mean, well, a lot of it is GP3 in my opinion, and I think my biggest thing is that I feel like if you're going to be paying DeAndre Ayton that much, you better go out there and play like he's making that much. I think he definitely has the potential. He's shown that when he wants to play like one of the best in the league, he could be one of the best centers in the league. I mean, while he's not really that max contract guy right now, he's still a top center. I mean, not I'd say at least easily top 10. I mean, I'm not sure exactly where I'd put him in that. Um, so I think one way or another, he's an asset that was going to be very important. I don't really see anybody else having filled that role the same way DeAndre would have filled it. Except just the biggest question. I mean, this is a league where you're going to have to consistently find ways to develop and get yourself better if you want to stay contenders and win championships. Bringing a guy back like DA, it's going to help the team, but at the end of the day, you're still talking about the Suns being strides away from finding that next guy and next opportunity to help them win a championship. Like I said, I mean, Kevin Durant was going to be that guy. Now, since DeAndre Ayton's out of the equation, you're not talking about possibly giving up Mikal Bridges, which, I mean, if you're obviously, for me as a Suns fan, for all the Suns fans out there, I would have much rather have given up DeAndre Ayton than Mikal Bridges. But at the same time, you're talking about Kevin Durant being on the line here. I feel like that's a decent trade that'd be willing to work out. And I mean, even then, there's going to be aspects to that are going to help a lot. So, if Mikal is on the trading block for that reason, and he's going to be that key player coming away from Phoenix to be the guy to kind of send Kevin Durant to Phoenix, I mean, that makes the most sense. But again, I think just the biggest factor in this is that we're paying DeAndre Ayton $133 million. Oh my God, $133 million. He better play like he's earning $103 million.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope it works out for you. We'll see. I mean, another big takeaway is that it looks like KD and Kyrie are staying another year in Brooklyn. We don't know how it's going to shape up, obviously, but that's what it looks like right now.
Yeah, and I mean, we both mentioned this on the last show. It seems like this is going to be the best fit. The haul that Brooklyn wants to get in return doesn't really add up to what a lot of players are willing to give up. You're talking about gutting entire teams, and especially for teams like Suns or the Lakers or whatnot, teams that have potential to go deep into the playoffs and make a deep playoff run. Um, I could see why they don't necessarily think it's worth it, because I mean, it's shown over the past few seasons that if you do not have a developed, like, all around team, you're not going to make it far. I mean, Brooklyn proved that last year. They have the superstars, but they don't have the depth, and that kind of screwed them over. Injuries screwed them over. I mean, I had to throw your Lakers under the bus, but you look at that. I mean, injuries there and just age and having those contracts that give these, I mean, pretty much put the emphasis on two or three very big guys, and then the rest is kind of just fades out into nothing. It's a strategy that, again, I mean, it works in some situations, but in the most recent NBA, it just hasn't worked out that well. And I mean, I feel like that's going to be it's you could look at it as a good thing, and you could look at it as a bad thing, but at the same time, it's just going to be interesting to see how this all plays out for Brooklyn in the long run.
Like you said, it's a bad thing, but I think KD and Kyrie, they're gonna look back and say, we still got a solid team in Brooklyn. We got Ben Simmons. Maybe he can play the 5. Maybe he doesn't even have to play point. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what Ben Simmons wants to do, but they still got solid role players, like you mentioned. And if KD wants to get traded, like you're saying, KD, you're making a great point where it's like, if he gets traded somewhere, there's gonna be nothing there with him. So I think he's gonna be chilling in Brooklyn. And I think he'll run it back. Maybe the next 2 years.
I mean, it could work out. I think I think when it comes to Brooklyn, my biggest takeaway is the fact that KD and Kyrie have not played many games together, and now you're
Yeah.
adding Ben Simmons to the mix. If you can just I mean, if you're talking even 60 games during the regular season, having at least 2 of them on the court, I think that's a win in itself. Obviously, of course, it's only a win if the team is actually finding success and actually getting themselves in a position where they can win a championship. But at the same time, I mean, the fact that they've only played 42 games together all in the 3 years that they've been there, I mean, that's incredibly tough on that team. So it seems like this is the prime year for both Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving to not necessarily stay healthy, but at least find that success in Brooklyn. I mean, and if Ben Simmons is able to come back in time for that, which, I mean, I can't see in this situation, I can't see why he wouldn't be able to. You're talking about a very interesting looking team in Brooklyn, and a team in Brooklyn that could possibly see a lot of success as well. So again, I mean, I agree. I think they're staying. I think it's going to be a very interesting trial. But I think this question is going to come back up at the trade deadline, because I think that's when I think if it doesn't work up at the trade deadline, that's when you're going to see the Brooklyn
Yeah,
Nets
then
kinda
they'll blow it up. Yeah.
exactly. But as of now, I think they're going to be willing to try it out and whatnot, and just kind of go from there. Any more thoughts on free agency? Like I said, there's not too much. It's just more so about just DeAndre Ayton coming back. The trades there, but anything else?
I don't think so. You hit it.
All right, perfect. This is going to be really short, very quick. LeBron and the Drew League. I mean, that's something that I feel like got a lot of attention on Twitter. I mean, of course, you see a guy like LeBron and DeMar DeRozan, of course. I mean, they were playing on a team together, chopping it up in the Drew League. That's something, again, like I said, I feel like it's a lot of people during the summer like to look at those, not even summer leagues, but like kind of those, what would you even call those leagues? Like
What do they call them? They're still called like professional leagues, Pro-Am
Pro-Am, yeah,
league.
there you go,
Yeah.
Pro-Am leagues. And I was gonna
Um,
say, I mean, it was definitely, I mean, at
like
least
those
from everything
guys
I
are
saw,
still under contract, like players that they were playing against. Those guys, it's their job to hoop there.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, it definitely got a lot of attention. A lot of people were focusing in on that. One of the things that I've heard was that a lot of people were upset because I mean, and you might be able to confirm this, but it seemed like the Drew League was a very big, just strictly LA kind of thing, and a lot of people from LA were just kind of like upset that why is this guy from Akron, Ohio, coming and playing in the Drew League? But of course, again, like I said, I think that was kind of interesting to see that on Twitter, seeing everybody kind of react to that, and I want to hear your thoughts first, but I got something I
Oh,
definitely want to say.
I thought it was awesome to see LeBron in the Drew League. They played in like a local LA high school, like it kind of in the ghetto, and there's all these celebrities pulling up, saying what's up to LeBron. I think LeBron, he kind of wants to bring back some hype in LA. I don't know the exact reason why he played in the Drew League. He hasn't done it since I think 2014, I think I saw. But it was cool to see him pull up. He dropped 42, and it might be like maybe he needed this, maybe he needed to get some real game action in. So I liked it. I thought it was cool. What's your take on it, kid?
I mean, one of my big things, and this is one of the things that like I feel like has kind of lost itself a little bit, but I think I'm happy to see it come back, especially in this situation. It's always been fun, like kind of scrolling through social media, whether that's Instagram, Twitter, and seeing these big time stars playing in these just kind of like local leagues that nobody's kind of figured, that everybody kind of has their eyes on, just locally, Like I remember they do it all the time at Rucker Park. I think KD's been
Yeah.
there, Kobe's been there. Now you're looking at the Drew League, like it's weird because it's like, and I mean, it's just pro-am basketball, like nothing too serious, but at the same time, it's obviously always fun seeing these big time players show up and pretty much just have fun with it. One of my biggest takeaways, though, and I guess not really takeaways, but one thing that I saw was that you had a team with DeMar DeRozan, LeBron James, and I think they only ended up winning by I think like 2 or 4 or something like that. Like it was a way closer of a game for having one of the best players, or not one of the best players, or no, my bad, I take that back. One of the best players in NBA history, one of the best players in the league currently right now. And they only won by 2, which I thought was kind of interesting to see. There was a tweet. I wish I saved it. I didn't though. It was pretty much just it was coming from the guy who was guarding LeBron the entire game.
42. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was talking a lot on Twitter.
dude, it was funny because it's like there's one thing where it's like somebody was trying to call him out, and he was like, "Hey, like LeBron had 40, I had 20. For every two shot, or for every 2 points he was getting, I was getting 1. That's solid in itself, especially playing against a guy like LeBron." And then on top of that, he threw shade, being like, "They only won by 2. If they didn't have LeBron, they wouldn't have won that game at all." So I thought that was kind of funny. I thought that was just, I mean, again, interesting, because we're at that point in the NBA season where there's nothing going, not even an NBA season. It's the NBA off season. There's nothing going on. Free agency's quiet. Summer League's finished up, and realistically, who really pays that much attention to Summer League? So to have something like Drew League where like players are just going out having fun with it, it's fun. I mean, it also kind of just in that same category. I forgot if this may have been 2018 or 2019, where they're showing clips of that one gym in New York where they had J. Cole hooping, LeBron, like all these like top tier athletes just playing pickup basketball at some local gym. And it's like, man, I like it's got to be a good time to just kind of pull up, just like see all these
Right?
NBA stars playing. Like, and that's what's fun about it though, is because it's like you always have during the NBA season, everybody's under the spotlight. And these situations, like players are still under the spotlight because obviously that stuff gets out to social media, but it's not getting out right as the game's being played. It's getting out an hour later, 2 hours later. So like that's what I love about it, is just the fact that it's really just you get to see players, they play just a fun, just good time style of basketball.
It's like fun basketball. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I like about it. You don't like, I mean, of course, then you get the NBA heads on Twitter trying to ruin it and whatnot, but it's just like, they're just enjoying themselves. They're having fun, and it really does show that they're that committed to just playing consistently 24/7. A lot of those players are doing it for the love of the game, not because they're in it for the money and whatnot. So no, I love seeing the stuff like that. Seeing LeBron in the Drew League kind of getting that attention there. Fantastic seeing. I hope sometime in the near future something happens with Rucker Park, because I think Rucker Park's definitely one of the better ones, that blacktop style of basketball. Definitely, I think on my bucket list to see a few games there. Is my voice cracking
Seriously,
to you? Because I was gonna say I feel it.
a little bit. I think you're good,
Yeah.
but no, that's definitely a vibe. Rucker Park. Everyone's just
No, I
standing
know.
up. They got the bleachers out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got to get my friend on here, because I mean he's a New York native, and his dad he's been to the Rucker Park games quite a bit, so he knows people. So I gotta see if he can come on here someday and we can talk to him about it, because it could be a good time.
That'd be
Um,
something you got to do when you come to LA next time, Katie. You got to check out the Venice games, like the
oh yeah, I know. I was
men's
gonna
league
say,
games in
dude.
Venice. Yeah,
Because that's the thing, is that like playing pickup basketball is so much. Like I love it, like it's a good time. But like seeing it when the people take it real competitively,
yeah.
and they just like take their time to just go out there like and just pretty much go out there, play game, talk trash. It's so much fun. It's a vibe for sure. Especially like I said, for summer, it works out perfectly. So it's good seeing LeBron out there, seeing him in the Drew League. Um, Got to keep that stuff up during the summer. It makes it entertaining.
Yeah.
But you got any last thoughts on that?
I don't think so. No, I
Okay, I
mean,
was gonna say.
hopefully this is a yearly thing. That'd be so cool to see this every year.
Also, you think they got tickets for that too? Like I was gonna say, because you got to think that like it's not just like a first come first serve kind of thing.
I googled it. Like I was thinking about going actually, but I saw on Twitter like people were lined up outside the high school at like 5 a.m. So
Honestly, that might be worth it though. Just 5 a.m. Like you'd have to get there early, set up a tent and whatnot. But I
yeah,
mean, for
but
the
even then I was
celebrities are
thinking,
seeing
yo,
there.
Kate, like I might like people camp out for sneakers. I'd be down to camp out for a Drew League game to see LeBron.
Exactly. Like that'd be. I mean, like what you're getting in there for like a few dollars at most, and you're gonna be able to see
Yeah,
LeBron play for like that's right there up close. I mean, that's an experience you can't beat. So I definitely think that may
seriously.
have been worth it, but who knows? I mean, we'll have to see how things go in the future. Maybe it's worth it then, but all right, yeah, that pretty much wraps up the NBA talk. Like I said, there's nothing too crazy going on. I feel like at this point it's a lot more fashion stuff, and of course, let's start kicking off with fashion with fit of the week. I won last time, Danny. As usual, I'll let you go first. First. Um, I'll let you get into it, but yeah, let's hear your fit of the week for today.
All right, so you send me yours first. You sent a WNBA player, and then I was like, you know what? Let me switch it up. Let me go WNBA also. So I'm going her name is Skylar. She plays for the Phoenix Mercury. Skylar Diggins Smith. I don't know if she's any good. I'm gonna be honest. I've
Oh, she's
never
good.
watched it.
Yeah,
She is okay.
yeah.
She also got some good style. What I like about this fit is she's kind of like dressing up in NBA jersey, which you don't see too much. NBA jerseys are kind of casual, and I don't know. She did something different. It's a different type of basketball jersey too. She's almost wearing like the backwards of the Kobe. This is a Lower Marion Kobe jersey, but like the back of it is like on the front, so it says Bryant 33, and then she's got a collared shirt with some docs. I don't know. I just like how she put it together. I don't really see too many people rocking jerseys like this, so I thought I'd throw this on for fit of the week.
Yeah, I know. I like it. Diggins Smith, definitely one of the better players with the Mercury. I think, in my opinion, has the best style on the Mercury. So, and it definitely shows there. Again, like I say, you don't see the backwards jersey that often, and to throw it on with the collared shirt, she pulls it off so well. All right, so for me, again, going with the WNBA, kind of shining the light there. There's a lot of good style, a lot of good fashion there. I'm going with Ariel Powers, the forward for the Minnesota Lynx. And the thing I like about this one is it just kind of, it's simple, but it also looks good. The accents on this fit look very good. She's got the Jordan leggings. I mean, they're not boots. I don't even know what to call them. They're like heels, but they've got the leather like going all the way up to the knee, like right above the knee. It looks like she's just got a bodysuit underneath. And I think the biggest like key there would be the jacket she's wearing, just a kind of slick, almost looks like a navy blue jacket. But the big thing that kind of drew me to this was that tan leather strap that goes across, keeping it together. I think that's a very interesting look. Almost looks like it's just drawn on after like she took the picture,
Yeah.
So I like it. She got the bag to go with it. Overall, just a really good look, a really good fit. Something a little different that you don't see in the NBA is just that simple straight accent across the front. But I thought she pulled it off really well. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I got to say about that. If you go on Twitter, Instagram, vote on an Instagram story on Twitter on who you think wins fit of the week. I think as of now is where I'm sitting. I'm right behind Danny, so I have a good. I feel like I have a good opportunity to tie this up, but we'll have to see. Obviously, it's up to the fans to decide if I am able to tie it up or if Danny continues to stay in the lead. We'll have to see though. For the final segment today, we're going to kind of do a hot or not. Usually we do this with NBA players, but as mentioned, with it being summer, right on the dog days of summer, I feel like it's a good opportunity to kind of talk about summer fits, and kind of summer trends where people are kind of sitting right now. So, kind of what looks good in the summer, what I mean, I feel like might be overplayed and doesn't look that great. Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Danny, I'll let you go first with your first kind of decision on what you think. I know you sent some over to me, but let's hear what your first pick is for this.
So the trend that everyone knows is the crazy run on dunks. We've been talking about it for like the past year, I feel like, and they're still releasing dunks. They've honestly become almost like GRs, dunk lows at this point, which is kind of cool. It's kind of driving down the prices of Jordan 1s and Jordans in general, and more people are getting sneakers, so it's cool. But I want to get your opinion on if like these GR dunks, the dunk low specifically, super hot summer shoe, are they hot or not? Are they a little overplayed? We just saw the Phillies and what pack, the MLB pack just dropped
Yeah, so
with
it's the Philly and the Mets.
Philly Mets. They dropped Jackie Robinson earlier. The chlorophyll dropped earlier, and then even like the Spartans, the Pandas. There's just tons of dunks, especially lows. Okay, you think they're hot or not?
I gotta say, I think they're definitely not. I think the dunks are a fantastic look. I think they look good. I've raved about this consistently, especially to you. Just the fact that I think there are a very specific set of shoes that people go out and get, and then they like. It sounds bad, but they go out and get. They think they're a sneakerhead, and then they wear that with every like fit. You know what I mean? You've got the Nike Blazers that on the cheaper end of that. Everybody goes out and gets a pair of Blazers, and then they're rocking that with every like decent fit they got. It's their like style shoe. You got that, in my opinion, with the Yeezys. That was a very hype shoe, especially the 350s, where I mean it's a good silhouette, but everybody was going out of the way to get a pair of Yeezys, to say they had a pair of Yeezys, rock them with every fit they got, no matter what it looked like, and then just like say that's their big thing and call themselves sneakerheads. Now it's the Nike Dunk, especially the Dunk lows. Everybody's got a pair of Panda Dunks. Everybody's got some sort of dunks in general. And as you mentioned, it's now getting to the point where it feels like a general release shoe. And you can see the way that Nike's treating it. It is really a general release shoe. I mean, I feel like recently, other than the Philly Dunks, there's not been a single really good pair of dunks that have dropped recently, but they're still getting sold out every day. It's something that everybody's keeping their eyes out for. And they're just going, they're eating it all up. I do want to say that I don't want to trash on it too much. I recognize that dunks are still a fantastic silhouette. They look good. They're on the cheaper end when it comes to those nicer, high quality sneakers. So I can completely understand why people are going for them and whatnot, especially in college. I mean, we don't got the money to be dropping $250 on shoes every week. So having a pair of dunks like that, it's good. And I mean, it works well. I think it's just, again, kind of the mindset behind it is they get a pair of dunks and then call it that. Like you can expand your style. I mean, obviously you can like it and you can rock with it. I completely understand, but there's more to the sneaker game than just dunks.
My thing with dunks is like dunks have become so popular. It's like it's almost not like people just aren't like appreciating sneakers as much anymore. If that
Exactly.
makes sense, Cade, where it's like it's kind of lazy. I'll just get all the colors of the dunks and look at my cool sneaker collection. Well, it's like there's no like I don't want to sound like a sneaker nerd, but it's like there's no like history in your collection. No, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but do you get what I'm saying? Where it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
I got
It's
two pairs of Pandas. I got the UNC lows, and I can put together cool outfits, but it's like it's really not a sneakerhead collection.
Oh, not at all. I agree. I think it's, and again, like I said, I don't want to trash on people just for owning dunks. Dunks are still a very
Yeah,
good
yeah, yeah.
silhouette. I mean, they're a classic silhouette. They work with everything. Like, I mean, you can throw them in the same like categories: Converse, Vans, all that stuff. They're gonna rock. They're gonna roll with whatever you're wearing. But because of that, I feel like again, I agree. It's not really that big sneakerhead kind of shoe. It's just kind of they're there, you know. I mean, it's you walk down the street, you see somebody with a pair of Panda Dunks. It's just like, okay, it's another pair of Panda Dunks. Everybody's got a pair. It's nothing too crazy. Um, so no, I definitely understand what you're trying to say. It kind of, I guess maybe you're trying to say like it devalues the significance of that shoe. It just if everybody's
Yeah.
got it, everybody's looking at it. You can rock it. It looks good, but it's just everybody's got them. And that's kind of like I feel like with me, it's like I like some of those shoes. Like I like Panda Dunks. I'm not going to trash on those. For me, the two
You've been
things that kind of
trashing on them.
dude, I always trash on them. I'll always trash on them. But for me, it's like the two things that kind of stop me from wanting to really get a pair is the fact that first off, everybody's got them. Second off, and let me rephrase that. It's not that everybody has them. It's just that I feel like it's a very common shoe, and I don't want to be thrown into that category. And then on top of that as well, it's just I feel like there's so many better silhouettes. Like if you're gonna go with the Panda Dunk, I feel like another viable option that can really just boost your fashion statement would be a pair of the Ambush Dunk Highs in that same Panda colorway. I think that was a fantastic shoe, and it really does kind of spice things up a little bit.
Hey, kid, I just thought of a great analogy. I think you'll like it.
All right, let's hear it.
Panda, like Dunks, just in general, in like a sneaker collection, they're kind of just like the. Ooh, I don't want to call them salt and pepper because that's like a staple, but they're kind of like let's say
Well,
you
no,
know
I
that
think that's really, I think that's reasonable. Calling them a staple, but at the same time, they're just bland. They're just
they're just
there to be
okay,
there.
right? They're
So
not
yeah,
you know
no, it
they're
works.
not your paprika. They're nothing too crazy, nothing too spicy, but they're just kind of bland, right?
Exactly. Like they're gonna. I mean, you can put that. Yeah, exactly. You can put them anywhere, and they're gonna be able to help. But at the same time, they're. I mean, if you're talking about using that to like really make a statement, that's not what you're trying to do. You know, that's not how that's gonna work out. They're good compliments for everything, but I mean, at the same time, you're not really gonna. It's not gonna be like a wow type of shoe.
There you go.
Is that
Yeah,
what you're kind of trying to say?
yeah, exactly. Like I picked up a pair. I have the Spartan Dunks. I'm not the biggest dunk guy, but I really one of my favorite colors is forest green. So I had to pick that up. I don't have 10 pairs of Dunks in my collection, but yeah, forest green. That's the color I picked for the logos. This there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was gonna say no. I agree. Like I got a pair of the Kentucky high top dunks, and
Uh-huh.
again, like I wear them every once in a while, but at the same time, I just feel like when it comes to styling stuff, there's so many better options, and it just makes it a little bit more interesting. So yeah, no, I'll throw not there. I'm not a huge fan of them, but at the same time, I recognize why they're so popular.
All right, what you got?
All right, so I'm gonna go with one that I feel like hits home a little bit, a little too close to home a little bit, but I got to throw my self under the bus here and kind of call myself out. But the vintage graphic tees, I feel like that's something you see consistently. I think that's something that almost everybody who like really says they enjoy fashion and like fashion, that's always something that people go for, you know. Um, for when you're talking about trends in general, of course, this is one of the hotter trends. Everybody likes that idea of thrifting and finding cool stuff for a lot cheaper. But Danny, I want to get your thoughts, hot or not, for the graphic vintage tees.
If I said not, I'd be a hypocrite, Kate. Half my collection is vintage tees, but I think there's a way to do your vintage tees. If you're going out and you're copping vintage tees from Metallica, if I'm rocking a Metallica vintage tee, Kate, I've never heard a Metallica song on my own. Like I've never played Metallica. Like I've heard of them, but I'm not going out of my way to listen to Metallica. So if you look at my collection, all my vintage tees are. A couple weeks ago at Melrose, I picked up a Batman vintage tee. I love Batman. That show, that shirt kind of speaks to me. So all my vintage tees I have, they're sports related, shoe related, car related. I like cars. I like what else? I have a Star Wars vintage tee. So I feel like if you do graphic tees and vintage tees the right way, where it kind of you're not posing anything, then that's how you do it. So I gotta go hot on this one. What about you?
No, I agree with that. I'm a big believer, and if you're gonna go vintage tees, if you're gonna go any type of graphic tee, do one on something that it's gonna be close to home with you. With like in the past, I mean, I remember getting a ASU Rose Bowl one. I have some other things like Star Trek in there. I mean, I like that kind of sci-fi kind of feel to it. Also, I got at the Goodwill bins. It was like not even $1, so I'll take that any
It's
day.
also a good find, yeah.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of kind of some of the other stuff I got. I got a Stussy one. I've got some other things that are related to sports and just kind of like things I particularly enjoy. So again, I agree that's going to be a big thing is the fact that like kind of sticking with stuff that you personally enjoy instead of kind of again as you mentioned kind of like faking something to just be able to wear it. Like I'm not wearing any of those band tees because I don't want to really be seen like having to have a conversation with somebody being like, oh, you like Kiss, like how what's your favorite album? It's like I don't know, I don't
You
listen
gotta
to
say
them.
some bullshit.
Exactly, so it's not good, but
I've been
at
there,
this
bro.
exactly. So it's just like that's the thing I'm not a fan about, and I understand why people would do it, but I'm just again I'm not a huge fan. Um, my thing here's my thing about vintage tees. When again, I'm throwing myself under the bus for this reason. Um, again, I mentioned it before. We're in college. We do not have the money to be getting like real good, like I think staple pieces in there. You know, it's just
Streetwear
it's
stuff, yeah.
exactly streetwear, all that stuff. It's out of our like range of price. And on top of that, we're busy. We can't be going out to some of the or not outlet malls, but like the stores around Phoenix, um,
And
finding
it's like
stuff
I'm
like
not
that.
I'm not waiting in Supreme lines at 7 a.m. here in LA.
Exactly. So it's like it's a good option for the people who are not able to spend that much money on fashion. And I'm there 100%, you know. You've got to be able to work with what you have available to you. Graphic tees are perfect for that. Um and that's just my personal opinion about it. I'm not a huge fan of the idea of like rocking graphic tees with every fit you got, but like at the same time, I feel like you almost have to roll with it sometimes just because that's the best option available for you.
Yeah, I agree.
And actually,
You
even
going
on
hot or
top of
not?
that,
Huh?
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with that one. I'm gonna say hot. I like the look. But just again, like I said, it's only for the fact that like I'm not in a position where I can, and I think a lot of the people who watch this aren't in a position where they can be spending big money on fashion. If you can, obviously, try getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. Have fun with it. But again, that's just I feel like it's an easy way to kind of get into it. So I'll go hot. Real quick before we go to the next one, I do want to say if you are doing vintage tees, if you can get them cheap, I mean, one of my things is like kind of personalize them yourself. You know, make them yours. We've taught. I mean, I've seen it a lot with at least cargo pants and jeans and whatnot. You'll see people kind of like wearing them out and whatnot, or trying to go for like finding the pieces that are beat up and kind of have a little bit more unique characteristics to it that make it different from the other ones that you can buy. See if you can try doing that with your your graphic tees or anything you get vintage wise. Like maybe make it a cap tee. Just find some ways to make it a little bit more personal and a little bit more unique. That's my thing about it. If you're gonna just make it unique, you know.
No,
But yeah,
I
Danny,
agree. It's
let's get
like
your next one. Or yeah,
everyone's seen the Purple Rain vintage tee. You know what I'm talking about, Cade?
exactly.
It's like you don't got to go for that. Try and find something unique. So that's definitely a good piece of advice. So I'll move on to my next one, Cade. Fitted caps have been a huge, just blown up. You know, it used to be people are showing off their sneaker collections. Now people are showing off their fitted hat collections. I know you got a couple fitteds in your collection. What's your opinion on the new type of fitteds where it's like pink brims, crazy color blocking, just kind of straying away from the just the original baseball colorway caps.
I think I'll throw it in the same category as the kind of graphic tees. You know, I feel like it's a very easy, simple way to step up your style without spending a crazy money on something. Um, Now on the flip side with hats, that's kind of things where things gets a little bit like kind of interesting. You know, like I feel like at the same time I feel like hats are a perfect way for people to kind of add to their fashion. You know, it's another piece that they can put on something to kind of like really s- like add to a fit. You know, with that being said, though, I feel like with hats, especially for people who aren't really have that time or money to really get into fashion, it is a little bit difficult to find some reasonable options. You know, to kind of stray away from just wearing fitted hats. Um, so I kind of throw them in that same category as graphic tees. You know, as I feel like it's an easy way for people to easy and more inexpensive way for people to kind of put together good outfits. But at the same time, I think a big thing is just if you can kind of just expand that range of things you wear, you know, instead of just wearing fitted hats, kind of just throw, just a really cheap dad hat in there, just like a black hat, something like that. You know, a black hat is, I mean, if we're going to be honest here, it's almost like dunks, you know, you throw on a black hat, it's going to be able to work with anything. Um, But yeah, throw different styles of hats in there. Like, I mean, and that's the nice thing about hats is that they are on the cheaper side, except the only difference is that it does take a lot more effort to try finding something that fits your head well and looks well with the pieces you have in your closet. Um, but at the same time, fitted hats to do a fantastic job at what they're supposed to do, which is elevate your style. Some of the hat club exclusives that you've seen and other exclusives that you've seen really, I feel like, make some outfits more elevated. They elevate the style, and they overall look very well put together. So I'm gonna
And
go
it
hot with
also
this one.
you're gonna go hot.
Yeah,
You kind of mentioned it a little bit with that black cap. At the end of the day, sometimes you don't need the crazy fitted hat club, exclusive or wherever Cap City, wherever you're copying your fitteds. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's just like a simple fitted that looks clean with a gray brim, green brim, black brim, something like that. Whereas sometimes these fitteds can get kind of crazy. Whereas they're tough to style. But I'm going hot on these. I just started getting into fitteds this past year or so, and I'm having fun with it. The cool thing about like these Hat Club exclusives is these fitteds actually have resale value for the first time. It's like you're dropping $60 on the hat, but if you don't like it anymore, you can flip it for $30. Nothing crazy, but there's still some resale value there.
yeah, exactly. That's the nice thing about it. And again, I think as you mentioned, it kind of just ties it all together. You don't really need to go outside of the box too far with getting fitteds. Yeah, I think just having like obviously like you get the fitteds that you like. I think a lot of people what they'll end up doing is they'll get a bunch of different fitteds. They'll collect them and whatnot. And there's a difference between the real collectors who really like fitteds and the ones that are just getting them either for
It's
resale
hypebeast.
value or just yeah, exactly, hype piece. Just resale value, just trying to get them just because why not. Um, I think honestly, I feel like you just if you're gonna go with fitteds, have like a solid rotation of maybe like 3 or 4 of them. Outside of that, just try expanding your style in different ways, different types of hats. Dad hats. I've seen some really interesting bucket hats that I think could really just kind of suit styles really well. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's no reason. There's sometimes no reason to really plus up an outfit that much. Just go simple, go quick with it. And the nice thing about just a simple like black hat, whether it's a dad hat or anything like that. I mean, it's going to work with any outfit. So if you want to wear a hat, just throw it on real quick, and you're out the door quick. So that's my opinion. I got to go hot though. I agree with you there.
Hot.
It just again, like I said, again, throw it in the same category. Graphic tees.
What you
Work with
got?
some other stuff too. So the next one I got, I guess you can kind of throw them in the same category as the dunks. Going with something similar, but really any low top shoe. I think, especially I feel like in just the warmer climates and whatnot, a lot of people start rolling with shorts more. And because of that, they'll also go with low top shoes. A lot of the time will be the low top shoe. You'll go with the no show socks to kind of just like really just eliminate any type of really any fabric, any material from like mid shin down. Um, I think I think it makes sense. Summer being a warmer time of the year, it makes sense to see so many low top shoes. But I just feel like it's also a perfect opportunity to bring out some of the high tops and really debut those and show those off where you're not wearing pants and having half of it covered up. So, um, yeah, Danny, what are you thinking about just low
Um,
top shoes in general?
I mean, for some reason, I've never been the biggest low top fan. If I look at my collection, I literally have like 3 pairs of low tops out of like all of my shoes, and I don't know what it is. It's just I've always liked the higher cut, and I don't know. I've never gotten into the Jordan 1 lows. I know Travis is kind of making them popular. And Jordan Brand is really trying their best to, put out good colorways for the Jordan 1 lows, but I've just never gone with it. I'd rather get the high cut. Um, of course, Air Force Ones, white on white's always going to be one of my favorite shoes of all time. But other than those, it's like, and maybe SB Dunks. I've really never been the biggest low top fan. I don't know what it is. I know they look cool in summer, but like you said, you can also rock high tops.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I don't know why people sleep on high tops over the summer. I mean, you can roll with low tops just as well as high tops, whether it's winter, summer, whatnot. I feel like it's just a good opportunity to kind of. I mean, my thing is that you can style a lot more no matter what you're wearing. So why just limit yourself to wearing low tops over the summer? And
I will say
not
this, Kate. I don't know if you saw the I think I'm gonna try and find it. They're Air Jordan 5 lows that are dropping in a couple weeks. They're like brown colorway. The PSGs, I think, and Jordan 5 lows might be a move. That's all I'm
You
gonna
know,
say.
I don't know. I've seen Jordan 5 lows in the past, and I mean,
You have?
they're definitely a lot more different, unique. Not too many people go after them, but I don't know. I just again, it might just be because the high top is just so much more popular, but I don't know. I feel like with a lot of the low tops with Jordans, they're very specific with who they're going to be. The Jordan ones. I mean, honestly, if you're going with the Jordan one low, just get a pair of Dunks. They're the exact same thing, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, and Jordan 5 lows, I'm not a huge fan of those. I've seen Jordan 6 lows. They released a pair of, I think, the Chinese New Year Jordan 6 lows at the beginning of the year. Not a huge fan of those either.
Do you like the 11 lows? I've never liked the 11 lows either. I'd
See,
rather
I
just
think we're gonna disagree there because I think the 11 lows are the one pair of lows that you can actually make it work out. And actually, I was even thinking about picking up a pair of 11 lows for the summer, just almost as a more casual shoe. Um, but yeah,
they
just
don't
low
go for
tops
too
and
expensive. Yeah.
exactly. So it could have worked out, but yeah, I just think low tops in general. I mean, I feel like again I understand it, but at the same time, like it's I feel like there's just no reason to put away the high tops for the summer, uh, just to kind of roll with. So, I don't know. I feel like at least the way I think about it is like people are rolling with shorts, so they don't want to be wearing high tops with shorts. It just they don't like it, but I think
Yeah.
it's a fantastic look. Rocking a pair of like Jordan ones with a pair of shorts realistically, I think that's a fantastic look, and I think it's a lot of people look that a lot of people really could pull off. They just don't. They don't try to pull it off because they don't think they can. You know what I mean?
Facts. I'm gonna go with not.
Yeah, same here. I think low
Might
tops,
be a hot
obviously,
take.
good look. No, I agree. I think that's a not too. I think low tops are just they're overplayed over the summer. That's kind of what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. Roll with some other stuff. Make it more unique. All right, Daniel. Let's just do one more each. What are you looking at for your last pick?
Last pick. I'll talk about these open stitched bun downs that I've been seeing a lot lately. I saw them at Urban Outfitters first, I think, and then when I went to Forever 21, I saw them there, and then when I went to I think it was American Eagle, they had them there. They're kind of like these see-through button downs, and I gotta go hot on this. I really like it. I've never seen something like this before. You can kind of dress them up. Um, especially in the hot summer days, especially in Phoenix. Um, I'm sure they feel good if there's a little breeze going on, but I'm gonna go hot on these. They come in ton. You can get them in a bunch of different colors, and it's kind of just a different type of bun down that you can wear. Um, what do you have you seen these, Cade?
So you might have to pull up a picture real quick because I'm not
Okay.
following this. Or at least I don't think I'm following. But because when you were describing button downs, I was honestly kind of thinking maybe you're like, I know a big thing too that I think honestly goes with a lot of the same styles we're talking about are flannels. Obviously, that's not summer, that's winter, but um, at least I'll just talk about flannels real quick. I think with flannels, it's very similar to kind of what we're talking about. Just the fact that it's very easy to throw that on, kind of add that to a fit, and kind of say that's a very good fit. Like everybody throws on a flannel and kind of rocks with that. Which, realistically, my opinion on oh my god, I can't talk flannels is that if you're gonna rock with the flannel, get something a little bit more unique than what everybody else is wearing. Stand out a little bit. Get something different, something new. There's a shop over in Scottsdale called a 151. I can't remember what brand put it together, but there's this one flannel I remember seeing where it's like all these different flannels kind of stitched together to put together like a really interesting, unique color, like just design. And I think something like that would be really interesting if you're going with flannels. But um, I mean, that's kind of what I thought when you are talking about that. But uh, yeah, you might have to send over a picture real quick. Oh
I
yeah, we
just
got it.
texted it to you.
Okay, that's a look. If you can style it the right way, I think you can definitely pull that off, and
Yeah.
it looks good. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's weird because that see-through kind of style is something that I feel like a lot of people definitely stray away from because they don't know how to style it and they don't know how to make it look good. I feel like something like this could be a very good introductory kind of style to that, because again, it is very hard to kind of pull off the more see-through, like open, like body stuff because
Hmm.
it's difficult. It's hard. You don't know what to really roll with it because people are seeing what's underneath what you're wearing. If you're wearing anything underneath, um, well, something like that, yeah, I think that's something that if you're interested in at least trying to get into that, it's a step in the right direction of kind of getting more comfortable with just something a little bit more open, a little bit more kind of just visible.
Kind of out there, but just rocking what you like. I think it looks pretty cool. I don't really like. I sent you a picture of this blue, but I've seen it in
Mhm.
like this cream colorway, which I really like. Um, but yeah, I'm going hot on this.
Yeah, I like that. And that's something that you could probably roll with throughout the year as well. So I
Yeah.
got to go hot there as well. Hot when it's done right, it's hot when it's done right. I think a lot of people could find a way to pull that off. Another thing that's kind of similar to this that I think is a good gateway option to kind of like look into stuff that's a little bit more like see through to kind of like show those layers would be like retro football jerseys. When they had that old mesh that you could kind of see through.
Yeah.
I picked up an old Nebraska one. I've been rocking that every once in a while. I mean, it's perfect for the summer too, just because you get some nice
Okay.
breeze through it. Um, but something like that, I think that works out really well because again, it gives you that opportunity to wear it by itself, kind of like do something a little different, but then obviously have the opportunities to wear it throughout the year with layers underneath, show some different style. It's different, that's all I'm trying to say. So yeah, if done right, definitely hot. I like it. Um,
Okay,
the,
Kate, before you go, friend of the show, Jonah Krell called me out. He says,
oh
if
jeez.
you're a basketball junkie, you got to know who Skylar Diggins Smith is, men or
Hey,
women.
I was gonna say for somebody like Jonah though, I mean he's got the A to Z sports. He knows everything about Arizona sports. But I was gonna say he's kind of right about that one.
No, he's
Skylar Diggins Smith is a player in the WNBA that definitely has her footing in the door. Like you got the
Kate.
players like Diana Taurasi, Kelsey Plum. Who else is in there? Candace Parker. Diggins
Kate,
Smith is
I'll
starting to push
walk into
herself up
my.
there.
I'm gonna walk into my rec center this week, and there's probably gonna be like 40 hoopers there. I'm gonna ask every single person if they know who she is. I'll bet you $100 not one person will know who she is.
Yeah, I don't want to put $100 on the line there. Not that many people watch WNBA, but that's
She's a
also
hooper
another
though.
thing. Oh yeah, no, 100%. I mean,
Okay.
I think she put up like 35 last game, something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, she's good. Um, that's also something real quick too. I wouldn't mind doing a show about this in the future, but just a show on WNBA basketball. I feel like there definitely needs more attention there. Um, I
I
mean,
almost fell
it's
asleep, Cade.
yeah, I know. I know a lot of people
I'm
don't
kidding.
like it,
I'm
but
kidding. I'm kidding.
there's a lot of there's a lot of good talent in the WNBA, especially in a place like Phoenix. They do it right there. I don't want to say that as a worker of the organization, but realistically, they do it right there. So I think WNBA is a little undervalued, but I think we can do a show on that if you're up for it. But getting back into hot or not, um, the last thing I got to go with, and this is kind of a joke, throwing it back to 2018, but the male rompers, when that was big, I remember, shoot, that was like May of 2018, I think, where everybody was talking about those. People were trying to pull them off, like actually make it a style. Um, all I'll say about that is that you can style, in my opinion, you can style any piece. It's just about the confidence you have rocking it and what you're rocking it with. If you threw me a male romper, I would find a way to make it work. But at the same time, if you're just talking about straight up male romper, trying to roll with that, that is a terrible decision for you to go out of your way and buy something like that. I bet everybody who bought something like that already has it either like locked away in their closet, not seeing the light of day again, or they already sent it into Goodwill. So very clearly not, but I had to throw that one in there because of how big of a summer trend that was a few years back.
The fact that people were actually spending their hard-earned money on these male rompers, Cade, makes me so sad. The only exception I might give someone is if it's South Beach. Maybe they got the romper in South Beach, but other than that, there's just no place for this, Cade.
Even then, if you're doing something like that, go with the two piece. Just go with like the pants short or the
Yeah,
shorts, the shirt that matches. You could even open or keep it open button. Go with like a white shirt under
definitely.
that. Something a little different. I mean, there's ways to make it interesting, but the male romper just so hard to style. It was a terrible look in the first place. I don't know why people were doing it. You could probably find a way to make it work, but at the end of the day, yeah, that's definitely not for sure. I had to throw that one in there though. Danny, you got anything else kind of when it comes to summer trends or whatnot? Anything you think we missed?
Summer trends, I don't think so. Oh yeah, the one thing I threw in there is the Poosh Icy mask, Kate. I've been seeing
Oh
them
yeah,
everywhere. People are
that's a
just
big one.
wearing them everywhere now.
I was gonna say it's a big thing. I'm like that's weird too. Yeah, I feel like that's something more associated with winter, but I don't know why people are rocking it during the summer. I mean, I like them, but at the same time, for everybody to be rocking them, it's not that good of a look for everybody, you know.
It looks like it's a little too much. I'm seeing people hooping them. I see people
Yeah, that's too
walking
much.
in LA rocking them. Yeah, it's a not for me. I don't know
Oh,
what it is.
100%. It's
Yeah.
a bad look overall. Oh no, let me rephrase that. It's not a bad look. It's just that you can't be rocking that everywhere you go. You got to kind of separate it out, do something a little different. And especially during the summer, there's no place for that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
there's no reason why you should be sacrificing your comfort walking around the streets of LA by wearing a shiesty mask when you can just wait a few more months when it's actually a little bit more desirable to wear something like that.
Yep.
At least that's my take on it. All right. I'm assuming that was your final thought.
Think so, yeah.
All right. That's it for me. That's it for the both of us. We thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Of course, it is going to be a little bit more time before we see you guys again. But we'll get back into it before you know it. August isn't too far away. The semester isn't too far away, unfortunately, for a lot of those people out there. I mean, I'm not ready for it. Danny, are you ready for it?
No, bro. I'm ready to get
Exactly.
back to AZ, see all my friends, Cade,
Oh,
but
yeah,
not
exactly.
not to start school.
Exactly. No, it's going to be a tough semester. So enjoy while you can. We plan on enjoying the next few weeks, taking a little bit of a step away from the show until that semester kicks back up. But as mentioned, we thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you guys in a few weeks. And of course, have a great rest of your week.